At the edge of the city stood an old hospital, its walls cracked and peeling, paint flaking like forgotten memories. Once it had been a place of life and hope, but now it held only silence, dust, and a lingering sense of unease. The wind slipped through broken windows, carrying a faint, almost whispering sound, like the ghosts of those long gone were exhaling inside. Each step I took echoed across the cold, cracked floor. Paper sheets were scattered everywhere, broken medical instruments glinted in the pale moonlight, and stains of old blood hinted at horrors left behind. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the walls, bending and shifting with each movement. It was as if the building itself were watching me, aware of my intrusion. At the doorway of one room, dust swirled in a sudden gust of air, making me cough. The door creaked as I pushed it open, revealing a scene of decay. A rusted surgical table, toppled chairs, and a corner littered with debris. On the floor lay a tattered journal. I picked it up, flipping through its brittle pages. The words told stories of pain, screams, and experiments that no one should have endured. Secrets that had been buried in the shadows of this building for decades. A shiver ran down my spine. I sensed a presence in the corner of the room, something barely there yet impossible to ignore. A faint rustling, like someone or something was moving in the dark. I turned, but only the crumbling walls and broken furniture stared back. Still, the shadows seemed to twist and stretch unnaturally, hovering where no human form should be. I forced myself forward, drawn deeper into the building despite my fear. Another door led me into a small hall. At its center sat a chair. And at first I thought it was empty, or perhaps just a dusty mannequin. But as I approached, I realized it wasn't a mannequin. It was something else. Something suspended between life and death, and its presence filled the room with a weight that made the air hard to breathe. From every corner came whispers, faint cries, the soft shuffle of footsteps, and the distant clatter of unseen objects. The walls themselves seemed to pulse with old anguish. Each step I took, my heart thundering, I felt more deeply that this place was alive, or at least inhabited by echoes that had never truly left. I entered another room, where walls were smeared with dark stains and scattered pill bottles littered the floor. I picked up one, noticing a name still faintly visible, someone who had been here not so long ago. A sudden cold draft swept past, carrying with it a sense of movement. Shadows twisted along the walls, crawling toward me, each one a fragment of the pain and suffering trapped in this building for years. My vision blurred as fear and adrenaline mingled. I pressed myself against the wall, inching forward until I reached the central hall. There, under a shattered window, lay a desk covered with old surgical records and notes. As I approached, the room changed. Light dimmed, shadows elongated, and the walls seemed to ripple with human forms, vague and distorted, but unmistakably present. For a moment, I felt suspended between life and death, the living and the dead intertwined, aware of my presence yet unseen. I picked up a sheet from the desk. It detailed unethical experiments, patients' agonized deaths, and a spirit that had never found peace. Each word seemed to ignite something in the air. The whispers grew louder, voices overlapping, a symphony of suffering that filled every corner of the hall. My ears rang, yet the sound was not just noise. It was a living history of pain, echoing from the very walls themselves. I stumbled backward as one shadow detached itself from the others, forming a vaguely human figure. It stared at me with a weightless intensity, embodying every suffering that had ever occurred here. My legs moved on their own, carrying me toward the door, heart pounding in a rhythm that matched the chaos around me. When I finally stepped outside, the night air hit my face like a relief and a warning simultaneously. I dared a glance back. The hospital loomed silently under the moonlight, more menacing than ever. Every broken window, every shadow, every whisper seemed alive, as though the building itself remembered every horror and nothing within it would ever truly rest.